Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Game Time Podcast. We've got a little extra for you here with episode 20. We already had a lot of content recorded. We got a lot of schedules coming out. We've got like a bunch of NFL segments from Sunday. Darrell and Ramon got into it about Shadur and Dylan Gabriel. So,
and Ramon was wrong and I was right. But needless to say,
neither here or there. You guys will see that content before you see this. We're actually going to talk some college football because who would have thought college football is this Saturday? And everyone is like ignoring. We've got two top 25 teams going at each other on Saturday, but everyone's just kind of like, it's a nothing burger. It's number 17 Kansas State versus number 22 Iowa State. I believe it's being played in Ireland. I know it's overseas. I may be wrong about the country, though. So that is the game happening this Saturday. I think there's some other games, but that's the big one on the docket. The Texas Longhorns are number one. They are first in the top 25, followed by Penn State, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, Notre Dame, Oregon, Alabama, LSU, and the Miami Hurricanes rounded out the top 10. And then shout out to Illinois. They're at 12. So didn't think I would see that. That is not a team that I'm used to seeing football-wise up in the top 25. I'm going to be honest. I watch college football a lot. I play the video game a lot. But I am not like I think you and Ramon are definitely going to be like more of the know-it-alls here when it comes to this. Like NFL and NBA.
I wouldn't say know-it-all. We got some information.
I don't know. I think you guys you'll probably know the athletes more than I will. Obviously I know some of the bigger names and stuff like that. And I've done some research, obviously, but it's like I think you guys are going to be able to like rip off players pretty easily compared to me, which is fine. I just kind of look at it from a team standpoint, stuff like that, because it's hard to, it's especially in this era of college sports, it's hard to nail down who's where, stuff like that. But Darrell, I'll kind of let you get your opening monologue out about this season, who you're looking forward to, stuff like that. We're gonna have to talk about the Notre Dame thing though, because I don't buy Notre. I never.
I've got notes on my Word doc on both monitors. Don't worry. I think I'll be ready for some stuff.
All right, you go first.
So my piece is this, right? College football season is here. I'm an absolute college football junkie. I'm gonna probably watch 5 or 6 games on Saturday between my fantasy football draft. College football season, it gives a different feeling even than the NFL. You're talking about teams have a real chance, especially with the transfer portal and NIL, and you're dealing with 18 to 23-year-olds and in this space. It's the love of the life, man. College football is great. It's going to be a great season this year. You've got a lot of teams that have a lot of cachet. You've got Texas, you've got Penn State, you got Clemson, you got Georgia, you've got Ohio State. That's just your top 5. And all of those are blue bloods, college football blue bloods at this point. And you talking about teams that have been flying above the radar, the Bamas of the world, the Michigans of the world, USC in the 90s. Man, these teams are coming up and they're ready to ball. And it's going to be a lot of competition this year. And the Power 5, you're talking about the Big 18. I can't call it the Big 10. It's 18 teams. I can't call it the Big 10. The Big 10, SEC, ACC. You've got a lot of talent out there. Big 12. There's a lot of talk about Texas being the class of college football, along with Ohio State, with the money they've spent over the last 2 years. And that may be the case, but you still got 18 to 23-year-old young men that are deciding a lot of things. Who's ready for the biggest, brightest light? That's going to be the question, right? And the reason why I say Texas, because they've got a coach who has a national championship under his belt as an OC at Alabama, also NFL experience, and the guy is a hell of a play caller, right? Sarkisian is probably top play caller in college football. He and Lane Kiffin are right there, right? Sarkisian has recruited men to play at the University of Texas. They've got the best defensive line in the country right now. They bring back 3 starters from last year, and they had the top 2 recruiting class. And don't forget, they got this quarterback. I forget his name.
Oh, you do?
Arch Manning, that's his name. So
Yeah.
so Texas is loaded. They're in the SEC, and if I'm a betting man, and I promise you I am, my money this season is on Texas to bring the house down and win a national title. And remember, Texas hasn't won a national title since when? Vince Young against USC out there in the Rose Bowl. So
2006.
Texas has the talent, they've got the depth, they've got the running backs back. The young man, the freshman that tore his ACL last year, he's back this season. So let's see what happens there. So I'm really high on Texas right now. I know most will say, "You're a Bama fan. Why?" They'll have their opportunity, but we're talking about top five right now, and the team I would think I was going to say cut down the nets, but the team I think is going to take it home. That'll be your Texas Longhorns. That's my take on that from that perspective. Now we're going to dive into teams and that type of thing like that, but for my money, I'm taking the Texas Longhorns all day.
I mean, I wouldn't blame you, right? I mean, Texas got close last year. I'm a big Quinn Ewers guy, so I mean, I think a lot of people last year. I remember getting asked like, "Why isn't Art starting over Quinn?" I'm like, "Well, Quinn earned a spot to start last year to be on that team, stuff like that." And Quinn didn't do bad. I think there was a lot of expectations for that team to get farther than what they did. I think a lot of that fell not only on Ewers, but I think Sarkisian in the game against Ohio State, there was a lot of just interesting play calls that did not go his way. I think there was a lot of questionable calls he made down the stretch. And I think he'll learn from that this year, right? I think Arch does bring something different to the table compared to Quinn. I think Arch is definitely way more mobile than Quinn. Now, throwing wise, I think a lot of people, saw those games last year of Arch and are just very excited for what they're going to see. But a lot of those games were not against the biggest competition. So I'm excited to see, when Arch plays that top competition, which is going to be right out the gate, how will he handle that? How will he play? But this Texas team has all the weapons in the world to win it. Our third co-host is not here right now, but I cannot sit here and say that I don't think Ohio State does not have the chance to go back to back this year. And it's because, Darrell, I would probably draft this kid over any quarterback in next year's draft. Jeremiah Smith that kid is
Receiver.
That kid is crazy. I mean, he's just tall. I mean, I'm not gonna call him Calvin Johnson, but he's just tall. I mean, he's tall, he's fast. I mean, watching him last year was just crazy to watch. I mean,
he looks like a man already. He looks like a man already.
He's insane. And that guy right there, I mean, I don't care who the quarterback is for Ohio State.
Well, Julian Sand is the quarterback this year.
I saw they announced it this week.
The transfer from Bama, right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, 5-star, I think it's out of California. 5-star, I think it was the second-rated quarterback coming out of this class. And I'm going to tell you, the dude can play, man. He can play, and he won that job fair and square, not because he transferred and we may have to make him a promise. He earned that job, and you're going to see him come to play right out the gate. And you'll have a test on August 30th against Texas. They're going to be in Ohio State, which is great. That's fine. But I'm going to tell you this. Texas have adult men on their side. This is going to be a game you're going to grab your popcorn, and you don't want to leave watching that TV. I'm not August 30th. I'm telling you, I'm locked in Saturday. I'm starting. It's a noon game. It's a noon game. The Big Ten noon game. I may not leave my basement on Saturday. There's a chance I may not leave my basement on Saturday.
I will be broadcasting for the IU East Red Wolves that day. I think I'm doing soccer, but I will have the game pulled up.
Don't worry, I'll send you some links. I'll send you some information as we go.
I'll pull up some links. I will be watching the game regardless. I'm glad I don't have work that day, right? Because I can come home from the broadcast and
exactly.
I may swing by your house. We'll watch college football.
You got to come this way anyway. You may well come on through.
Yeah.
But let me give it some love to Ohio State, man. Also, they've got, in my opinion, the best defensive backfield player in college football, Caleb Downs, another transfer from Bama. This young man is a combination of Ed Reed and Sean Taylor. I'm not saying he's going to have the accolades that they had when they were playing, but this man he as a freshman, he was the captain of the backfield at Alabama under Nick Saban.
Yeah.
The reason why he left was because Nick retired. Caleb Downs made a difference last year on that team at Ohio State. He was able to run back punts. He covered a lot of ground in the defensive backfield, and his ball skills are second to none. That's why I call him Ed Reed. Anyone who really gets involved in the Ohio State piece, they'll tell you very similar about Caleb Downs. He's a hell of a player, and he probably would have been a top 5 pick this year if he wasn't just a sophomore. He's definitely coming out this coming season. He'll be a top 5 pick.
Interesting.
Absolutely. Caleb Downs. The stock watch. Caleb Downs. Keep your eyes on Caleb.
I'm a quarterback guy. I love my quarterbacks. That's kind of my favorite thing to watch when it comes to college football, especially like who's going to be the next quarterbacks up. Obviously, you got Arch, you got Drew Aller, and then I'm going to go down the board a little bit because the other guy that'll be notable this year, mainly for his draft stock, but obviously we'll see how the team does. They're ranked number 9 this year, and that's Garrett Nussmeier. And the LSU Tigers. I like Nussmeier a lot. I also like LSU a lot. So I don't really have a college football team, right? I do like Texas. I've always liked Texas. I like LSU, obviously, because I mean, you see how much I defend Joe Burrow on this podcast. Clearly, I like LSU. And then the other team that I do like, but they haven't been good in recent years, but we'll see how they do this year because they've got an interesting quarterback, is Florida. Right? DJ Lagway. I think Lagway could be really good for the Gators this year.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of interesting quarterback talent too. Because like you look at South Carolina, Lenore Sellers, he's going to be very good, I think, at the quarterback spot for South Carolina this year. And then correct me if I'm wrong, Bryce Underwood starting for Michigan, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I think he is. But I don't think they've named it. I don't think they've named the starter yet. But there's no reason why he wouldn't. He shunned LSU, went to Michigan. I think because of the fact he wanted to play as a freshman. Going to LSU, he wasn't going to play under that situation, which helped him go to Michigan. Also, a little bit of money helped that as well too.
Yeah, I'm excited for this year, and I think for me, it's always about the quarterbacks. I've always been a big quarterback guy when it comes to college football. It's going to be an interesting year. I'm going to ask you some questions because obviously, like I said, when it comes to college football, I just enjoy watching. I'm not the biggest, like, jump into it, get to know everyone, stuff like that. Clemson's seems to be back in the picture here at number 4.
There's a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk about Clemson. You got Cade Klubnik, the quarterback.
Yeah, I know.
Came on strong last year. He's back this season, and he's got some great receivers. Okay. Right? We know Dabo can coach. He's kind of stuck his heels in the transfer portal deal and all of that, and said, "I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do things my way." He's been down for a couple years. This is an opportunity for him. He's in the ACC. He's a favorite in the ACC. They don't play Notre Dame this year, which is a good thing for them. I believe, because that would be a difference maker, right? Because Notre Dame has an ACC schedule, but Clemson's not on that schedule. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But Clemson has an opportunity, but realize they play LSU next Saturday. LSU, but they're in Death Valley. Nussmeier is a good quarterback. He's gotten better each year. But here's what I'll tell you the difference is. The difference is going to be on the sidelines. When you got Brian, I'll point a finger at all my players before I pointed at myself, Kelly, versus Dabo Swinney. I'll take Dabo Swinney every day and twice on Saturday.
Brian Kelly's not a good
head coach. He's proven it. Brian Kelly has proven that when he has the talent, there's going to be something else wrong. The only else something wrong is Brian Kelly. He'll point a finger all day long. And I hate the fact that the Warren Central left defensive end is there as a freshman this year. That really disappoints me. Yeah, Shanklin is in LSU. But I hate that, but that's okay. Well, we got a guy coming to Bama next year coming from Warren Central too.
Speaking of Bama, give me the rundown on your Crimson Tide. Obviously, Ryan Williams was the star of the show for freshman last year. Talk about Bama a little bit. Let me know who the quarterback is. Give me the rundown on the Crimson Tide, because it's an interesting spot for them. You know, you've got Georgia, you've got Texas, you've got LSU trailing right behind them, and then you got South Carolina and Florida a couple spots down.
I love the fact that the Bama is not getting a lot of respect this year, right? You've got Ty Simpson, who's going to be their starting quarterback this season. A guy who sat behind Milroe. He sat behind who was it we sit behind was behind Milroe, and it was I'm drawing a blank right now. The guys, all he's done is stayed there. He didn't transfer, had an opportunity to transfer, he didn't. Sneaky athleticism, above average arm, and more accurate than my guy Jalen Milroe. Now he's not a 4.29 guy like Milroe. However, but he's sneaky athletic. That's going to be interesting. And we all know Ryan Williams, dynamic freshman. But I'm going to tell you this, from a receiving core in the SEC, I would mark Alabama's receiving core probably top two. I would say them along with the LSU crew. LSU crew always has receivers. They're always stacked with receivers. Don't be surprised that Mr. Bernard comes in and at Alabama. Last year was number 4. No, I'm sorry, number 5 last year. Bernard for Bama will be your slot receiver, and he's going to have some opportunity because Ryan Williams is going over the top. He's their speed guy, right? Here's the great thing about it. Ryan Grubb comes from Seattle to Bama. He left Washington and he snubbed Bama 2 years ago and went to Seattle as their OC. He was in Seattle 1 year. Coach called him back, said, "Come on and see me." So they've got a lot of creativity going on that's going to happen in Bama that they haven't had in previous years. Why? Because you got a quarterback that can do both things, right? You know, Milroe was a great runner, but we all knew those intermediate passes wasn't his strength. That's going to be something to behold as well. The last thing I'll say about the Bama piece is, and again, everyone knows that. I think everyone knows, and they should know, Bama's the greatest coach we've seen in the present day era. What Saban didn't do was he didn't go deep into his bag of his players. Okay, Saban stuck with his guys, and that was pretty much what's going to be his guys, right? He didn't go deep. The year they lost to Georgia, with Williams got hurt, tore his ACL. You had other receivers that were almost just as good. They just didn't have the opportunities to play during the season. This year, look for Bama to go deep into their depth and get guys ready. So as the season wears on, it wouldn't be surprising to me if Bama kind of takes a little bit of steps going forward. And don't be surprised to seeing them in that top 5 area, getting some consideration. Of course, definitely being in the playoffs, getting some consideration for national title hopes. I'm saying 2 losses for Bama this year. Definitely no more than 3, but I'm thinking 2 losses for Bama. And they're in a good spot. 8th in the country right now. Stay in that area. Let LSU do their thing. Let Clemson do their thing. Ohio State and Texas. Stay in the weeds and sneak up on some people. September 27th, Bama, Georgia. That's going to be a money game right there. That's going to be the game right there.
That's going to be a big game. We haven't talked about Georgia much, but obviously there's not much to say there. Georgia's going to be good. They're always good. So we'll see how Georgia does. Darrell, there is a couple teams when I look at the list that I'm not really buying into it, right? And you know, if I'm going down the list, right, Clemson, I don't really buy. We'll have to see how that goes. They're going to LSU their first week. Yeah, I'll put all my money on LSU that weekend.
It's gonna be rocking.
But it is Brian Kelly, so I don't know. That's a hard gamble to go with. So
that's a -3 points right there. Kelly against Dabo. You're starting off 3-0 if you're Clemson.
And then the other team I don't buy, even though they went to the national title, but even then I didn't think they were going to win it, is Notre Dame. Here's my thing about Notre Dame, right? Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. I mean, we've watched this team go to the playoff after playoff, whether it's Kelly or Marcus. I mean, props to Freeman. He got the team to the national title game, and he won games I didn't think he was going to win last year. But I've watched Notre Dame falter so many times, and it's especially like in the biggest moments they get blown out. You know, dating all the way back to when they played Bama in like 2009.
Young, I'm sorry. Bryce Young escaped me. That's who Milroe would play. So I apologize.
You're good.
I just
You're
drew a
good.
blank, and
You're
it just
good. You're
hit me.
good.
Bryce Young, what's wrong with you? So Bryce Young's the
I
quarterback.
I don't have any hope in Notre Dame, and you saying they have a cupcake schedule even makes me more feel like, okay, they'll get to the playoff. They may even get back to the national title, but I'll tell you right now, they're not going to win the national title.
Well, here's why I say Notre Dame has a chance. They got a softer schedule. They start out the season against Miami. This isn't Miami of last year. This is Miami with losing their top two
Who's their
receivers.
quarterback? It's the guy
their
from Georgia, right? Carson
And
Beck.
Yeah,
Well, I
Ward
know
is
Ward,
in
but I'm just
Tennessee.
saying, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not sure who their quarterback is
It's
now,
Beck.
but I know this: they had to get Ward as a transfer. So if the guy was that guy, he wasn't that guy because Ward transferred in.
They got Carson Beck from Georgia.
Yeah, that's even worse.
Yeah,
That's it.
I
won't want to disparage Carson Beck, but he landed on third base when he played at Georgia. And it showed when they played the competition. He wasn't there.
Yeah.
But let me give you this. So Notre Dame has Texas A&M at home September 13th. And this is after a bye. They've got a bye after the game one. This is what I'm talking about. This is no dig on Notre Dame. I'm not a fan, but it's no dig. They've got a game August 31st against Miami. 2 weeks later is when they play Texas A&M at home. They've got a week 2 bye. After that A&M game at home, they've got Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State, USC, at BC, which is going to be a difficult game. Then they got Navy, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, and Stanford. They're going to be well rested. And like someone mentioned last season, the reason why Notre Dame was up there, they didn't have to deal with those injuries and those licks that a lot of other teams had to deal with who had a tougher schedule.
USC is going to be hard, and Texas A&M may be hard, but other than that, I mean, USC may not even be hard.
A&M has a strong defensive line as well.
Yeah, A&M could be
they're
tough.
going to be in Notre Dame. They're going to be in South Bend, and again, this coming out, they have a bye.
Yeah,
they had a bye week. Yeah. They're going to be really ready for that. Then after they got two major cupcakes, Purdue and Arkansas. Now, Arkansas being in the SEC, they're going to have some grown men on their side. They're going to be at Arkansas, which is going to be a bit of a challenge. But I believe in Marcus Freeman. I think he's the right coach for the right time for Notre Dame. I see Notre Dame, if anything, losing one game off of this schedule. And that one game, if I had to pick one, it'll be the A&M game.
I think it'll be either A&M or it'll be USC.
They've got USC at home, and USC is in the
It's a rivalry game, though. So, I mean,
this hasn't been a rivalry in 10 years, though.
Yeah,
it's been a bloodbath, right? But again, don't be surprised that Pittsburgh has something to say. Pittsburgh, they came on last year. They were, I think last year they were over 500. They lost about 3 really, really close games last season. Pittsburgh, they may have a chance. They may have a chance to do a little something. It looks as though I think they are at Pittsburgh, as a matter of fact. Yeah, they're at Pittsburgh, and that's November 15th. So, and then you got Syracuse and Stanford to finish off your season. Notre Dame is going to not be tested continually week after week, and that's going to give them an opportunity at an 11-1 season at worst, getting into the playoffs and making things work. And let me hit on something else with Notre Dame as well. Notre Dame is so smart, but not even considering getting into a conference. No need to get into a conference if you're printing money. They're printing money in South Bend. If you've been up in the South Bend area where the stadium is, I'm telling you that area is growing and money's falling from trees up there. And there's no reason for them to get into a conference if you can have this type. You can have an ACC love schedule to throw in the academy of the academies. You've got Navy, then you've got your Boston College is a rivalry, right? You've got Purdue back in there now. You got SC, you got Stanford. You've got those layups in there, so there's no reason to go into a conference. Keep on printing money and being relevant so you can get your name out there and looking at those playoff opportunities. So that's my take on Notre Dame. They just announced their redshirt freshman is going to be their starting quarterback. Clearly he can ball. Redshirt freshman starting at Notre Dame. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah,
I've never seen him play, but I trust Marcus Freeman when he says this is his guy.
I'm just looking around. It's just like, because there's been talk about the playoff and the Big Ten and SEC, they're going to probably get their way with however it goes. I'm just looking at the other two conferences, right, which is the ACC and the Big 12, and it's just like, man,
Yeah.
if they don't, if you win your conference, you'll be in the playoff, but it's like, it's just there's nobody here that's like, Florida State's not going to be relevant. I mean, Clemson, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really buy Clemson. Miami, Carson Beck's the QB. And then, I don't know. And then the Big 12 is just a glop of just teams thrown together. So I don't know. I mean, it's really just the SEC and the Big 10. I mean, Kansas State could be interesting. Avery Johnson's a really good quarterback. But it's going to come down to the SEC and the Big 10. And then, Notre Dame will be there, but I don't buy them as serious contenders. I think we're kind of in the same boat as last year, where I think when I look at contenders from a way too early perspective, Texas, Penn State, Ohio State, Georgia, I think those are the big four. I think those are the clear-cut contenders. And then after that, I want to see how Bama looks first in the first couple weeks. We know they've got talent, obviously, but can they win these games? And that's the big thing with Bama, right? I remember last year everyone was so mad because they didn't make the playoff and SMU got in, and Bama fans wanted to talk about the non-conference schedule. Well, your non-conference schedule meant nothing because you dropped 3 games in conference, and one of them was to Vanderbilt. So for Bama, it's going to be about being consistent and winning, not your hard games. You can drop a hard game, but it's going to be about not dropping games to Vanderbilt.
You got to stay consistent. And that's it. You got to stay, because you don't have that type of a margin of error like, say, a Notre Dame does, or like, say, a Clemson maybe does, right? Because
maybe that was just what's his last name? What's the coach's name? DeBoer. I didn't want to say
Caleb DeBoer. Yeah,
I think he was coming from a Washington team that was in the Pac-12 when they went to the national
title. That was their last season in the Pac-12, and they had a great team.
But he's coming over to the SEC. I think maybe, hopefully, now that in his second year, he kind of knows, like, all right.
And I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people knocked him. Listen, man, he did a good job with what he had last year. Jalen Milroe started off like with his hair on fire. He had that middle of that season, that Oklahoma game, that Vanderbilt game, where he wet the bed. Yep. Right? He wet the bed. But what I will say is this: they've got a more polished type scenario set for this team this year than last. Yeah. Based off of what I've heard when I was down in Tuscaloosa, a lot of players were looking to leave if Milroe would have came back. And I'm not knocking Milroe because I love Jalen Milroe, and I'm talking about receivers.
It's gonna be good in Seattle.
So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens if Ty Simpson can be that guy, right? If he can be that guy, don't be surprised. But I do want to hit on Florida, right?
Oh my goodness, we great minds think alike. I was just about to say, I think the Gators could be.
They've got talent, man.
They can mess things up.
But here, listen to their schedule. They've got LSU September 13th. They've got Texas October 4th. They've got Tennessee November 22nd, A&M October 11th, Miami September 20th. They've got Georgia November 1st, Ole Miss November 15th. Their issue is their schedule, not their talent. They'll win 6 games, but it'll be really the equivalent of 8 or 9 games for the gauntlet that they're running.
We're going to see. And if they
Lagway's the truth.
If they come out with 2 losses, DJ Lagway may be top 5 in Heisman voting.
I'm telling you,
they only come out with 2 losses.
Listen, they've got talent, but they can't run that gauntlet.
I agree.
There's not enough bye weeks in the season for you to skip, right? But again, it's a murderer's row. It's
early prediction. Who wins the Heisman? Just rip the Band-Aid off. Who wins it?
If Arch Manning is the quarterback for the number 1 team, it's going to be Arch. The name, the cachet, the team, he just can't wet the bed, man. He can't wet that. That's my Heisman favorite, Arch Manning. But let me tell you this. Here's my dark horse, and I don't think it's that much of a dark horse. Jeremiah Smith.
I was just about to say that's my pick.
Jeremiah
That's my
Smith.
pick.
You know, the thing is, he's
Just get him the ball. Literally,
he's got
just
a
get him the
redshirt
ball.
freshman throwing the ball. Now, Julian Sands a player, but how will he respond in this Texas game? This is going to go far, I believe, in looking at the Heisman opportunity.
Yeah.
Texas OSU, man, that's 1-2. No snow, no crazy wind. It's gonna day game. No excuse. So my second guy is Jeremiah Smith, man.
Smith is probably my number one. Look, I really don't. I'm curious to see how Arch plays because people are just like ready to watch. They are ready to watch Arch Manning play.
Very good season. I think he's your leader in the clubhouse. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback. We're talking about Heisman, right? And how that goes. I'm telling you. But from my perspective, the two and of course Jeremiah Smith can't go into the draft because he's only a sophomore. To me, I hate to say it, two best players in Ohio State, man. Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs on offense and Caleb Downs on defense. Listen, I know my Ohio State guys. I know that when they see this, like, oh, this guy, I can't believe it. He jinxes. But I'm telling you, to me, Caleb Downs is the best defender, and Jeremiah Smith is the best offensive player in college. If Ohio State have the season they think they're going to have, I would not knock in any way, shape, or form. Of course, Caleb Downs is going to have to do he's going to have to do a wonderful job. He's going to have to score about 4 or 5 touchdowns. He's going to have about 6 or 7 interceptions. But here's the thing: he's absolutely capable. He's absolutely capable.
I think for both Bama and Ohio State, it's like if you can just get your receivers the ball, they'll do the work for you.
Yeah.
And then obviously it's college football. The run game is going to be important too. I don't want to make this too long. But I do want to ask, I just wanted to get this out because of Arch. I think that's what everybody's looking for. That's what everybody's wanting to see.
But that's what happens, right? You want to see it, right? And if he doesn't wet the bed, there's no reason why he won't be invited to New York.
I was a Quinn Ewers guy, so it was like everyone's like, "Oh, Quinn shouldn't even be playing. They should have just played Art." So a part of me is like, "All right, let's see how he plays now," because he's gonna play some real he's playing real competition opening week. So if he comes out and balls out, he'll hear nothing from me the rest of the year.
More than real competition, he's going to Columbus, Ohio.
He's playing a national championship game week 1.
Yeah.
So and it's the team that knocked him out of the playoffs. So I'm really curious to see how
but
he
here's
plays
the thing,
in week 1.
But here's the thing. He has played last year. He played meaningful games.
Yeah.
He's not coming in, dry. He's coming in ready. And also, he has the cat. He's a Manning.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah,
that goes for something. That goes for something. But he's going to a hostile environment where let's make sure those running backs are back healthy and that receiving core is ready. Let's see what happens.
And then last but
get
not
your popcorn
least,
ready
last
for
but
that.
Not least, sure. Just to a little entertainment factor. Does Colorado make the playoff?
Who? Man, come on, man.
Does Colorado in that Big 12? If they win the conference, can they win the conference? Can they win the conference?
I think Boise is in there.
Boise's not in the Big 12.
Boise's not in the Big 12.
They're in the Mountain West still. I think they're going to the Pac-12.
They went to the Big 12.
No, they're going to the Pac-12 next year. A lot of the Mountain West teams are going to the Pac-12 next year.
That's okay. I would say no then. I would say no. Because
you don't think Colorado wins the conference? I
haven't followed the Big 12 like
that's fine. It's just a glob of teams. There's not it's just a glob. So I don't.
You got to look at your freshman quarterback coming in, right? How's he gonna play?
I like Kansas State, and I've heard Texas Tech as a team is the best all around in the conference this year.
Well, I know this. Texas Tech has spent more money this offseason than anybody for next year.
Somebody told me there was a spat a lot of the people that donate to Texas Tech are oil people.
That oil money's coming in. That oil money's coming in.
So
but here's the thing. Oil money doesn't make it always because Texas A&M has been the richest school in Texas for the last 15 years.
Really? Interesting.
What A&M has. So it doesn't always pan out that way, right? But with
Yes.
this NIL piece, you just never know. Texas Tech is a dark horse down the road. Those players they're getting in this summer, those recruits for 2026, yeah, that oil money's real. But again, I think everything in Texas still runs through the Longhorns, though.
Yeah, for sure. Big 12, you're just a glob of teams. I'm
What
sorry.
about SMU? Is SMU? They had a great season last year.
Oh no, they'll be okay. I mean, they'll be
Yeah,
okay. I'm not gonna
yeah.
they'll be all right. I think them. I am excited to watch Avery Johnson at Kansas State. I think he could be a good
Every
quarterback
time you say
prospect.
Avery Johnson, I think about the point guard for San Antonio.
Eh,
I swear, I can't get it out of my brain.
he,
Avery Johnson.
I'm excited to watch him this season. I think that'll be fun to watch. But college football, it's back. It's gonna be fun to watch. This pod has definitely got me more
Yeah,
into football. I've been watching
yeah.
like I watched like a 20-minute film review on Caleb Williams' preseason game. Like I'm very bought in now.
It's gonna be
Thanks to
good
the
stuff,
pod.
man. It's
So
gonna be August 30th, man.
and Ramon, I expect an Ohio State jersey because I was the first one to bring up Ohio State in this episode. And I even said Jeremiah Smith's going to win the Heisman. So I expect some gifts from you. And I
I
expect a
know,
thank
right?
you text in the morning.
Definitely,
Because
definitely.
I even looked at the team and I was going to bring up Penn State first because of Drew Aller. But I'm like, you know what? Jeremiah Smith, that's the next Calvin Johnson. I mean, Jesus,
He's a
that brother
man's
is
man. He's a man's man. I'm telling you.
that brother is tall and
Oh,
he can.
we listen. We'd be remiss. I got it marked here. Indiana Hoosiers at 17. You got a confident coach who we all know their coach is very confident. They got Old Dominion starting off the season. Indiana, what can they do after those transfers they got that came over with the coach from last season? They had a good recruiting class, better than IU's had in the recent years, probably 5 to 10 years. Can you parlay last year into a repeat peak season for this season? Their coach has talked a lot during the offseason. He knocked the SEC, says, hey, why don't we just do like the SEC and schedule a cupcake? Well, there's a lot of talk. So you're gonna have to back it up. You're 17, coach. IU, they've got the new facilities down there that they've enclosed the stadium.
They're 20th.
Well, they're 17th in some rankings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they top 25, they're 20th. But
Yeah.
I mean, either way, it don't really matter. They're in that area.
We'll see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if they win 8 games this year.
Yeah.
Parlay that in a little bit, get some momentum going.
Since you brought up Indiana, I'll bring up the one team we didn't mention in the top 10 other than Georgia. We brought them up briefly. I'm excited to see what Oregon has this year. Lanning's always a really good coach. I didn't do enough research on them to give a good analysis, so I didn't bring them up, but we'll see how Oregon does. Darrell, I don't want to have this run too long. So that is going to do it for this edition of the Game Time Podcast, episode 20. There's going to be a lot of content in this one episode. But college football, it's back, folks. Let us know in the comments who you're buying into, who you're not really feeling this season. And we've got more content coming up right here on the Game Time Podcast.